Still paying hundreds of dollars for prescription glasses? Let's change that. At Zenni.com, our factory direct model means no middlemen or outrageous markups. Just the same quality frames and lens options as the other guys for 1/10 the price. Zenni offers prescription glasses starting at $6.95, as well as affordable sunglasses, blue blockers, and more. The best part? Try any frame, anywhere, with our 3D virtual try-on. Visit Zenni.com today and change the way you buy glasses forever.
The Cricket Badger Podcast IPL Daily, in association with Moonrise Cricket, Indian Premier League 2020 13th edition. Every day, every game, every spill, every thrill, every triumph, all the way to the IPL trophy.
Hello everybody, welcome along. It's another edition. It's the Cricket Badger Podcast IPL Daily. Thank you very much to moonrisecricket.co.uk and Bodyline TShirts.com for their support of the podcast during the IPL in the UAE. We have got loads to get through in today's programme. 2 matches to look back at and 2 matches to look forward to on Sunday. And to help me do that, I've got Anand Bhika and Neil Virani on the line. We'll start off with you, Anand. We'll look back at that game first today, and it was an absolute cracker. Kolkata Knight Riders, for much of this game, looked down and out. They were rescued a little bit with the bat by Dinesh Karthik, who ended up being player of the match. Kings 11 Punjab needed 6 off the final ball. Glenn Maxwell looked as if he might have achieved a super over, and the ball landed within millimetres of the boundary rope, and it was a 4. KKR won by 2 runs, but Anand, Kings 11, they've just got used to losing, haven't they? They were in a winning position. They had the 2 points in the back pocket and suddenly found some way of handing them to KKR.
Kings 11 certainly has made some baffling choices. I mean, shouldn't they have actually won 3 matches that I think they've lost in the last dying moments of each of those matches? Why is Prabh Simran sent out before Maxwell? I know that Maxwell is sort of scratchy at times, but Maxwell is very explosive. If you have 3 overs left, it's baffling to me that you send Maxi out later. So there's some interesting decisions that they've made. Also, what's going on with KL? So KL, a couple of years ago, hit 659 runs at a strike rate of 159. It feels like he is trying to take all the responsibility on himself and trying to wait till the last minute to really start hitting out. We have Maxwell, we have Puran. Either of those guys can play. I think it's time to let them take some of the responsibility as well. But some of these decision making is just baffling.
On the KL issue, that strategy would work fine, wouldn't it, if the other guys were standing up? But Maxwell's having a terrible IPL, and it's all right saying, well, he can come in and he can hit it, but there's no evidence in the UAE over the last few weeks that he's actually in any kind of form whatsoever.
That's a very fair point. But with Maxwell, he's shown that over his career, right? That's the kind of batsman he is. He isn't the most consistent batsman. He at times goes off, at times he doesn't. If you're telling me that there is about 15 balls left, and I think it was 18 balls left and 22 runs to get when KL and Puran were around, I would think at that point you got to back Maxwell to come in. And also with KL, I feel we have 120 balls to figure out what to do with this innings. KL has to start going a little earlier because he certainly has all the shots in the book. I find him to be one of the most talented batsmen in the world. He seems to be waiting too long before he explodes.
Neil, I asked the question there of Anand. I totally actually agree with what Anand's saying in terms of Maxwell. And when you've got a talent like his, when he's only getting a few balls at the end of each innings, he's not getting the chance to find form, is he?
That's been part of the problem. KL and Mayank Agarwal have done so well that they've used maybe 2/3 or more of the balls every single innings. Puran comes in next. He's been great form. So Maxwell can't have faced more than 10, 15 balls in any innings. There was a very, very strange decision to send Simran Singh in against Narine. Of all the people who you want to face, surely you want Maxwell, a guy who's been there, done it, seen everything against potentially the greatest T20 bowler of all time. You need that experience. And Simran came in and then dotted up the rest of Sunil Narayan's third over, which left the equation at 21 off 2 overs, putting huge amounts of pressure on everyone.
Looking at Kings 11, we worked out the other day that the minimum points that had secured playoffs in the last 5 years was 12. Kings 11 are getting to the stage now where they need to win every single game from here, and that still doesn't mathematically guarantee them progression to the playoffs now.
No, they have to win every game, and they have to win every game big, which probably means they have to bring in Chris Gale, because we're looking at huge net run rates differentials being necessary. It has been done in the past. I think it was the last season that they came out to the Middle East, that Mumbai lost 5 games out in Dubai and then went back and won the next 7. But even then only got through on run rate with some ridiculous hitting from Corey Anderson in the last game. It's so unlikely that I'd say it's almost not a possibility anymore. They're going to have to win by such a huge margin. I guess that's another point about the game today. They had everything so far in hand and with so many wickets in hand that if they'd gone earlier, they may have been able to reduce their deficit in net run rate, but leaving it to the last few overs meant that the game was still in the balance.
You refer back to the Mumbai Indians kind of get out of jail season when they finished on a real high. With all due respect to Kings 11, they haven't got quite the same pedigree as Mumbai Indians either, have they? So yeah, I mean they're pretty much on the plane home already. I think Kings 11, KKR though, just to finish with them on this game, a lot of positive signs from them. Shubman Gill a 50, Dinesh Karthik coming to the party at last for them as well. There's plenty of positives, Anand, in KKR's team, isn't there? And you know, equally with Kings 11 getting used to losing, getting across the line from the situation that KKR found themselves in today, that's a massive confidence boost going forward for them, isn't it?
Absolutely, because I think one of the key things that came out of this match was that Karthik finally got some form back. So I think he made 58 runs in 29 balls or so. And we sort of forget that Karthik's been pretty decent over the last couple of years. I think in 2017, he was striking about 140. In 2018, he got almost 500 runs at 148. So he's absolutely integral to this team. They got to figure out what his batting position is, because I think that Owen Morgan should always go before him, which they did in this match. I think DK getting his mojo back was an amazing improvement for them. The second part I thought was Narayan's 2 overs. Neil just referred to the 18th over, but let's even talk about the last over. Narayan bowled a slow off break to Maxi, I think on the 4th ball of the last over or so, and that was a leg by. How gutsy is it for Narayan to bowl a slow off break to Maxi? Maxi's going to hit that to Melbourne from there, if he gets hold of it. So I thought, really 2 big benefits from today's match.
Yeah, and all these little factors that you get, it's the little jigsaw, isn't it, that starts to come together for a side. Your captain performing and starting to contribute, the spin bowler starting to get some confidence as well. All helps KKR going forward in this competition. It doesn't help KXIP at all, because they are looking at the exit door already in the UAE. BodylineTShirts.com. Browse the finest collection of cricketing t-shirts on the web. Hundreds of original cricket designs for cricket players and fans alike, featuring everyone and everything from Larwood to Leach and Cow Corner to Chin Music at BodylineTShirts.com. And you can get 10% off your first order using the code BADGER at checkout. BodylineTShirts.com. T-shirts for the discerning cricket fan. Let's move forward, chaps, to the second game of the day, which saw a very good RCB performance again. They won by 37 runs against Chennai Super Kings. And start with CSK. I mean, I've been writing them off for some time in this tournament. I thought that the 2 wins that they got, they caught Mumbai Indians cold in game 1, and they got out of jail a little bit because Watson and du Plessis suddenly had a bit of an opening stand to win by 10 wickets in their second victory. Apart from that, they've been second best in most of the games they've played, Neil.
Yeah, they really haven't impressed at all with the bat, apart from the occasional very nice test innings that Faf and Shane Watson have played at times. The bowling has generally been pretty good, and they were superb with the ball up until about the 15th over, when they got taken apart by the best all-format player in the world. But the batting is a huge, huge concern. Throughout the IPL, they've always been behind the 8 ball. The strike rate has never been high enough. And to be honest, at times it hasn't looked like they're trying to go after games. The only person in the whole team who's shown any impetus has been Sam Curran and possibly Jadeja in the last couple of overs that he gets to bat. But everyone's been really pedestrian.
It's almost like, Neil, on the chases that they've had so far in the tournament, they've been setting themselves up, regardless of what they're chasing, to score 60 off the last 3, and they've been quite happy with that. Do you know what I mean? They've almost been saying, right, let's just set this up to say we're still in this game at the end of with 3 overs to spare, and they've carried on losing wickets and been nowhere near.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the other players have got in their minds that it doesn't matter how many we still need to get in the last 5 overs. We've got MS Dhoni. Well, that doesn't ring true anymore.
No.
And the other players have got to take that responsibility on now. He can't bail them out of every single situation. He can't be coming in with a required run rate of 15 plus every single time and be expected to win it from there.
Yeah, I think MSD's cloak of invincibility, that aura that he's always had throughout his career, it's starting to slip a little bit, isn't it? And Virat Kohli, whose cloak of invincibility isn't slipping at all. In fact, he's tightening it around his neck and making himself look very smart with it. 90 not out from him, and it was an innings today of several different gears. We spoke on our WhatsApp group during the game about how good he is at nudging the ones early on in his innings, and then he just absolutely went up to 5th, 6th gear towards the end of his innings and smashed it all over the place in the last 3. That 90 off 52 balls was a really fine knock, wasn't it?
What a joy it is to watch him come back to form. I think in the last 22 balls, he scored 56 runs. It was almost like everything he touched turned to gold. He has been a bit scratchy, especially at the start, and I think actually he's been scratchy since the last India tour to New Zealand before COVID actually hit. So this was actually a lot of fun to watch. Some of those shots were just absolutely magnificent. Just watching him play and kicking it up to 5th gear was just amazing.
Moonrise is a sports engagement website to allow sports fans to learn from the very best. Get a personal video message recorded for a fan's special occasion. Have a professional cricketer as your next coach by getting video feedback or having a 30-minute conversation with some of the world's best players. Players such as Jimmy Neesham, Colin Munro, Tammy Beaumont, Danny Wyatt, Monty Panesar. Visit moonrisesports.com or go to Moonrise Sports on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Moonrise Cricket, let's play. So wins today then for KKR and RCB. Let's have a look back at the 2 games together. And I'll start with you. Moonrise moment of the matches for you today. Which is your favourite little passage of play or your favourite moment from the games that we've seen today?
The biggest moment to me was the return of form of Kohli. So I think in the 18th over, Karan bowled one ball over the wicket, angling away from him. Kohli just danced right up to it, adjusted the shot, flicked it all the way to deep square leg boundary. I think that was just an amazing shot, and it was also not a shot that a lot of batsmen can pull off. So for me, it's just that moment of Kohli coming back to form, and I think that bodes very well for RCB.
What about you, Neil?
It's got to be the last ball of the first game. The drama in that ball where we thought it'd gone for a 6, it got signalled a 4, then it went up for review. It took however many replays to finally figure out that it landed about half an inch ahead of the rope. That was everything about the IPL to me. That level of drama I don't see in many other places, and that's why we love cricket.
It sums up Kings 11's season, really, doesn't it? The fact that they were in the game, it looked like it was going for 6, and it ended up tantalisingly close. So many of their matches have gone down that route. I can't separate those two today, guys. We're going to have a joint winner. Virat Kohli, I agree. I actually had made a mental note, Anand, at the time when I saw him flick that ball. Well, it was more than a flick, wasn't it? Off the front foot, through square leg for 4. I just made a mental note that was one of my nominations tonight for Moonrise Moment of the Match, and I can't take out the Maxwell nearly 6 that robbed Kings 11 of the chance of a super over. So we'll make those our joint Moonrise moments of the match. Want to get your game the very best it can be? The future of coaching. Talk to a pro. 30-minute video conversation. Video analysis from players at the top of their game. Video shout-outs. Get a personalised message from a pro. Great for birthdays, congratulations messages, a prank, or a simple hello. Visit moonrisesports.com or go to Moonrise Sports on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Moonrise Cricket, let's play. Right, let's have a look ahead to Sunday. Another double header. These weekends are fantastic. I don't have to leave the house. I am just engrossed with this IPL at the moment. The first game that we have on our screens tomorrow from the UAE is at your team, Neil, Sunrisers Hyderabad taking on the Rajasthan Royals. Head-to-head between these two sides, the Royals lead by 6-5. But you have to say, coming into this game, your side, the Sunrisers, have the confidence. Rajasthan Royals, off the back of 4 defeats, they don't. So you must be quite confident, Neil, going into this one.
I am quite confident, which also makes me wary, because whenever I feel that I know how a game's going to go, I get it completely wrong. The Rajasthan Royals are always going to be dangerous because players like Buttler and Smith and Jofra Archer can turn things around at the drop of a hat, regardless of what their prior form has been like, and destroy you single-handedly. However, they have looked a bits and pieces team for the majority of this IPL. I think they've really missed Ben Stokes, and they've missed some kind of structure to their 11. It's been a whole lot of reliance on Jos Buttler. Sanju Samson has had his one innings, which he has every year in the IPL, where we realise how prodigiously talented he is, but he doesn't seem to bring that to the rest of the tournament. If we can get through Jofra's overs without too much damage, then I've got a good feeling about tomorrow.
Anand, I'll make you our Rajasthan Royals fan for the purposes of this little preview. It's fantastic to see Ben Stokes probably going to be back in the tournament tomorrow. He adds a big punch, doesn't he, to Rajasthan Royals. T20 is not necessarily his favourite format, but if you bring Ben Stokes into any side, they're going to be slightly better for it.
Absolutely. I think he's going to be a game changer for them. I think he's probably going to slot in instead of Tom Curran, who's done a relatively decent job. But we're talking about Ben freaking Stokes. How good a run
is that his middle name?
He's had.
Is that actually his middle name?
I think he should change it. He should consider changing that. You know, the whole last year I feel was like a Cinderella story for Ben Stokes. He was the hero multiple times. It was the World Cup, then it was the Ashes. It just went on, and I think just bringing him back in there adds a lot of belief to the squad. Don't get me wrong, Curran's a great player, or a good player. Stokes is a great player. So I think really looking forward to Stokes coming in. And also, I can't wait for Sanju Samson to actually convert some of that potential into some consistency. As Neil just mentioned, Sanju Samson every year has a couple of knocks where you look at him and say, how is this guy not playing at the very highest level? And I think, he's had a couple of chats with Kohli. He's been talking about his fitness. He's talking about dedicating all of his resources towards cricket. This is exactly the time for him to come good. So really looking forward to him kind of breaking this little sort of string of low scores and coming good again.
Yeah, Sanju Samson. I thought Neil was a bit harsh on Sanju, to be honest. He's had a bad run since the 2 games that he did actually get 50s in at the start of the tournament. And I'm hoping he does come good, because when he's playing well, there are a few better to watch than Sanju Samson. We'll come back to your predictions on that game later on. We'll move on to the second game of the day. Mumbai Indians, which is Anand's side, against Delhi Capitals. We start with you, though, Neil, to look at the Delhi Capitals for this one. They are as good a side, I think, as we've seen in this tournament so far. Every single kind of tick in the box, isn't there? Going down their squad list and their 11 they're putting out. Well marshalled by Shreyas Iyer. Ricky Ponting, head coach, he's obviously got plenty in his brain in terms of cricket thinking. And you've got Kahisa Rabada, who is running away with the race for the purple cap. There's not too much to complain about if you're a Delhi Capitals fan at the moment. I
kind of picked Delhi as one of the teams that I thought would be very good this season. But I did have a couple of caveats beforehand that they've just come out and completely answered in the game so far. I can't really see a weakness at the moment. I thought that their middle order may be a little bit flaky, but actually Iyer, Pant and Hetmeyer have been superb. I thought their lower order hitting and finishing might not be great after Marcus Stoinis had a poor tour with the white ball against England. He has been a revelation. I don't know what Ricky Ponting is saying to him that Justin Langer isn't, but he has found the way to make Marcus Stoinis a lower order hitter of great consistency, and that is something that I honestly didn't think that I'd see. I may have to apologise to Marcus. I did him a disservice there. The bowling has been absolutely superb. Akshar Patel has got probably the lowest economy rate going, and
4.59 and over. Akshar Patel 4.59 and over. That's amazing, isn't it? In this kind of tournament,
absolutely superb, and especially considering he usually bowls a couple in the power play as well. When you'd think that people would be able to get after him, and KG and Nortje together have been unbelievably good, hostile, accurate, and have taken a shed load of wickets. I think KG owes Anrik a few beers for the pressure that he's building. There's a very Morkel Steyn dynamic developing there where KG's cleaning up, but part of it is on the back of some great pressure from Nortje.
Anand, we've just run through the strengths of the Delhi Capitals. You must be quaking in your boots ahead of this one for Mumbai Indians tomorrow.
Well, they are a formidable team, right? So you talk about Rabada has got 15 wickets, Nortje has got 8 wickets. But you know who has a pace attack that matches them? Mumbai Indians. Bumrah has come back. Last match, I think he got 4 wickets for about 20. Bolt has got about 10 wickets and Pattinson about 9 wickets. So I think the pace attacks actually match up pretty well. The batting, again, when we look at Mumbai Indians and look at DC, again, the margins are slim. DC is very explosive. And as Neil mentioned, Stoinis, or if Virani was on the commentary, you would certainly hear a lot of references to the Hulk, right? He's been doing great. But let's take a look at MI then. So Rohit has found form. He's got a couple of 50s. He's going at a good strike rate. Pollard has been a revelation. I mean, he did great in the CPL, but look at him. I think he scored 163 runs at a strike rate of 209. That is nuts. He is absolutely killing it. Surya Kumar Yadav or Sky is doing well. Hardik's doing well. Maybe the only weak link I would say is Krunal hasn't done awesome so far. But even he got a few runs in that last over where he got 20 runs from there. So it's hard to find weak links in the MI squad. I think they go unchanged. Everybody's got runs. Everybody's got wickets. This should be a fun match.
I tell you what makes it even more fun is that it's at Sharjah. So you've got the small boundaries as well. So if these teams really do bring their A game, and it could be the two titans of this tournament, this could quite easily be the final of IPL 2020 if form stays the same. Obviously, there's a long way to go yet, so that may change. But I'm really looking forward to this one. If Rohit gets going, if Kieran Pollard gets going, you know, there are so many different permutations, so many different things to look forward to in that match. Let's start with that one for our predictions then. Just the team name. I guess, Anand, you're with MIE.
Absolutely. I don't see any issues with MI.
I think this is a Delhi Capitals win for me. I've been so impressed with them. If they turn up and play like they have done, it's going to be a really entertaining match one, and I reckon it might just be DC that shades it. You have the casting vote, Neil.
I'm going with Mumbai, but only because the injury to Mishra has left Delhi without a leg spinner to go after Rohit early. If he gets in, then all bets are off.
We'll stay with you, Neil, for the Sunrisers against Rajasthan Royals. Who wins that one?
Sunrisers, but not as easily or as cleanly as I would like. I'm going to have no fingernails by the end of it.
Anand, what about you on that one?
So Sunrisers look really good, but I'm going to go with Rajasthan Royals. I am hoping that Stokes brought his A game with him. Of course, it's his first game, but I'm thinking he's going to have a huge difference in here, and Rajasthan Royals for the win.
I'm really sitting on the fence with this one. I can't choose between these two sides going into tomorrow. Sunrisers have all the confidence, but you worry about them if David Warner and Bairstow are out cheaply at the start. You know, what's behind them in terms of runs. Rajasthan Royals are equally prone to fantasticness and awfulness. So it's going to be a really interesting Sunday. I think we've got two absolutely cracking games to look forward to. Sunrisers against the Royals, Mumbai Indians against the Capitals. Anand and Neil, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thanks, James. Thanks, Anand.
It's always a pleasure, guys.
Thank you to you for listening. We'll be back every single day through IPL 2020. Thanks to our sponsors, moonrisecricket.co.uk and Bodyline TShirts.com. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for listening. Join us every day throughout IPL 2020. Follow us on Twitter at cricket_badger. Join in the fun. We'll see you again tomorrow.
For all you foodies out there, I'm unwrapping a McDonald's steak, egg, and cheese bagel. Ooh, look at this steak. And the juice running down the side. Got a little bit on the wrapper here. And then the fluffy egg and real cheese folded over the side looking just so good. Grilled onions and a butter bagel too. Thumbs up for McDonald's steak, egg, and cheese bagel for breakfast. Love it. I participate in McDonald's.